Ladies and gentlemen, SoFi stock did just hit a new all-time low earlier in the day today at $6.94 per share. We are currently down 5.20%, which is not as bad as some of SoFi's competitors like Square or PayPal, down in their own rights about 7%. So on the one hand, SoFi is holding a little bit of strength. On the other hand, it's a very bad day in the markets overall, and SoFi stock is hitting new all-time lows. Now, as you guys already do know, if you're buying SoFi at these levels, it's a lot less risky. Why do I say that? Because the stock has dropped a lot. You want to be a bottom fisher, I guess to call it, and be the one that is actually buying these stocks on the bottom. But that is not financial advice. Do what you guys want to do. Do not listen to some guy in a YouTube video to make your financial decisions. Nonetheless, we have a lot to go over. We have a catalyst in after hours today. We have a catalyst tomorrow, and these two things are going to dictate how the markets move at least until about Thursday or Wednesday of next week. So we got a lot to get into. The work is cut out for us. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. Very, very close to doing so. Thank you guys for tuning in here each and every single day. But without any further ado, let's get into it. So SoFi stock down 5.06%. Like I just said, seeing a little bit of a move back up right now. We're not quite to the end of the day. We have about 2 hours left of trading, but I figured I would go ahead and make this video sooner rather than later because these catalysts are going to happen in after hours and then tomorrow. If you can see this video a little bit earlier, maybe position a little bit better for these, maybe you can make more money or not lose as much money. So essentially what the big catalysts are is going to be Tesla earnings. And that's obviously pretty straightforward. We get Tesla earnings. Now there's a bull and a bear case for Tesla. As you guys probably do know, the bear case is, hey, the metal cost to make batteries, to make their vehicles is up about 73% in the first quarter. So not going to be so good for margins. That's the bear case. You could add in there that maybe Elon, trying to acquire Twitter as well, he might have to sell like 30 million shares to be able to do that. Also, not a good thing. And then you could also say on the bull case, well, hey, they should have really good production. It looks like they have really good demand. And there's talks about that stock split and what kind of ratio it would be. And that's actually the most asked question on a Tesla's earnings call. So we're going to get clarity of that. So there's really a case here either way for the stock to go up or down 10%. Depending on what happens with that, like we seen yesterday with Netflix earnings, it's going to either help the markets a lot or it will hurt the markets a lot. Now, let me tell you, if Tesla does something like Netflix does, which I think is way less likely, it's not going to be very good in the markets. Now, if they can even hold up or go positive off of earnings, that's going to be a very, very bullish thing. And that's really what I'm leaning towards. I have trades to both sides. So I wouldn't necessarily just gamble money on one side. But Tesla is down about 3.66% today. And that is going to be the biggest thing for the markets here in after hours. Now, tomorrow you do have the Fed speakers. And it's basically a conference where like federal, bankers around the world kind of get together and debate the global economy. Kind of get a glimpse into what they feel like they need to do. And Fed Jerome Powell, if he's going to do that 0.5% rate hike, he's really going to solidify that tomorrow. And the markets are going to pay very close attention to that, and that's going to move the markets up or down dramatically. And Fed and fintech, like I say all the time, it will affect SoFi stock. Now, we've already priced in a lot of bad news. SoFi stock hitting new all-time lows. There's really a lot that's priced in. The markets don't have very high expectations for SoFi. So if SoFi does come in and actually do well, then it'll be much easier to actually surprise to the upside and to see a big move in the share price. But that is obviously not a guarantee. That is only my opinion here. After all, I did not expect Netflix to butcher earnings over 20% drops back to back. So anything can happen in this weird market. I would be prepared for either $5 on the low end or back to $10 on the higher end. Now, the issue here, and partly why SoFi stock has been getting beaten down so aggressively in the past couple of weeks, is simply due to the bond market. So if you look at bonds, the rate is at 2.847%, so about 2.85%. It looks like a momentum stock. So the algorithms, the algos that control about 70% of all trading on the stock market, anytime these bonds go up, it's basically saying to short fintech. And that's exactly what has been happening. If you guys look at my personal portfolio, you can see PayPal is down 7% today. Square is down 6.76%. Massive, massive drops. I mean, PayPal is $96. And this is a company that makes billions of dollars of profit a year. So that's really what is going on. It's not just SoFi in that camp. It's all of fintech. That's why I like to say Fed and fintech. But if you do see Fed Jerome Powell, for whatever reason, tomorrow come out and sound more relaxed, that he's not going to raise interest rates as fast or reduce the balance sheet, voicing a little bit of caution on their policies, that's going to be an added bullish thing. And just so you guys know as well, we just passed the deadline for tax season, which was April 18th. So historically, the first 2 weeks in April are not so good, right? Why is that? Because people have to sell stocks a lot of the time to pay taxes. So they sell their stocks, pay their taxes, and then there's fresh money to go back into the markets really this week and the next week, the last 2 weeks of April. So historically, April is a very strong month, but not the first half. The second half tends to be strong. So it could really go either way here. Like, there's a really good bear case to put on the markets. There's a really good bull case to put on the market. So I have no clear opinion. I know the range is $5 on the low end for SoFi, $10 on the high end. It just really depends what Fed Jerome Powell does, as well as Tesla earnings. It's going to be very, very important. Like you see Netflix earnings. I mean, the stock was down 36%, and everything got hit. Facebook, PayPal, Square, SoFi, AMD, just everything based off of that. Really expecting a lot of negativity this earnings season, it looks like. As far as the short interest up free flow on SoFi stock, you're looking at 20.06%. Current shares that are sold short of 144.98 million. Cost of borrow max is going up at 7.26%. The utilization is still at 100%. It's been like that for weeks now. Days to cover is sitting at 3.19. So it does look prime for a short squeeze. If you do see that reverse from the Fed, I'm not going to count on it, but it is possible based off of what Fed Bostic said last night, that they need to be very careful with their policies so they don't put the economy into a recession. But at the same time, he was indicating they need to get to neutral, where that's basically the economy is standing on its feet. Inflation rate, interest rate, minus those out, right? You get a neutral rate of 0. So that's neither pushing or pulling on the economy. Now, as far as the option flow activity, you're seeing 2 orders totaling $314.69 thousand, positive order value of 69%. Now, SoFi does report earnings on May 10th, I do believe. That is obviously a little bit away, and that's when you could expect an even bigger move. I think there's going to be a lot of people watching SoFi, potentially going to be buying the dip like crazy on this one, because if you look at the shorts, right, you look at the short interest, all that, really under like 15, 14, 15, you've seen the short interest go crazy. And I think that's where a lot of people, if they were going to sell, they kind of sold in that range, even call it $10 per share. So a lot of this downward pressure that we have been seeing is simply just shorting the stock. And that's just the flat out truth. Now, as far as the max pain for SoFi stock by the end of this week, that is $7.50 per share. If we go ahead and pull up the chart, we are at $7.02 per share right now. Like I said, watch $5 for the potential downside if the markets do take a big hit after the Fed. That's obviously what you're looking at there. As far as a potential rally to the upside, $10 per share is very, very possible if we do get that reversal from the Fed. The 50-day moving average is at $9.76 per share. That's where you will see a little bit of that resistance coming in. But just depending on what happens, you could break straight above that if it's a big fundamental change. Now, the MACD is bearish, still obviously not going bullish probably anytime soon. The RSI is still very, very oversold. So if you do see a big move, then you have a lot of room before this thing would flip from oversold to overbought again. So AKA, you could see a lot of buying power come in before you would see people freaking about the RSI is overbought or whatever. You guys hear it. People are like, the RSI is overbought. Regardless of what happens, it tends to influence how a stock does move. Long term, I think you're fine. Not financial recommendation. I am buying SoFi stock. As you guys do know, I just bought some shares in the last video. I'm going to hold off here for this next couple of days to see exactly what does happen, but still, I think it's a good price to be picking up some SoFi. So that is going to be all for this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get this channel to 1,000 subscribers. We're only 12 subscribers away, so thank you to every single one of you guys that have done that. Get yourself those free stocks down below in the description, and that is it. Let me know your thoughts on Tesla earnings and other earnings throughout this week. What are you guys trading? Let me know. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.